To begin the climb, we headed to Fujinomiya. This is a small industrial town with about 100,000 people in it, famous for yakisoba noodles, a Shinto shrine to Mount Fuji, a plateau with views of Mount Fuji, a lake in which you can see the reflection of Mount Fuji, and of course its proximity to Mount Fuji itself. Packing everything we'd need for the climb, we checked out of the hotel and left the rest of our stuff in storage with them. We headed to Fujinomiya Station for the first part of the journey.
Alright, this is it.
Not quite, we're going to wait for a bus.
This being Japan, some basic supplies were purchased from a vending machine.
Okay, if it wasn't for the fact that most of Japan is covered in Chinese smog, you'd be able to see Fuji down the road here. To give you an idea where we're going and what we're going to do, I'm going to use my lunch to demonstrate, if I can get it over. So there's Mount Fuji. And we're going.
And then we boarded the bus that would take us to where we'd begin the climb. First stop is to the Fujisan Hongu Sengen Taisha Shrine. A long-standing tradition when climbing Mount Fuji is to visit this shrine on the way to the mountain to wish for a safe journey. Hands and face are washed as is the custom, then we go around the side of the shrine to Wakutama Ike, a large natural spring containing some of the water that flows off the mountain. It is here that the spirit of Fuji is said to have risen from the land. There's 4 trails up Mount Fuji, and this is just one of them. The Fujinomiya Trail is the one we're going to, and its starting point is about 2,400 metres above sea level, higher than the highest point in Australia, and the highest starting point of all 4 trails. However, this does not make it the easiest climb. It's by far the steepest and rockiest of all 4 trails. Compared to the others, it's more like climbing stairs than hiking up a flat path. And starting the climb at the higher altitude means you'll be less acclimatized to it, so some care is necessary. The Fujinomiya Trail's the second most popular, recording about 50,000 climbers in the 2019 season, only a third of the close to 150,000 recorded at the most popular one, the Yoshida Trail. The Subashiri Trail recorded about 20,000, and the Gotemba Trail recorded only 12,000. At the 5th station, we purchased our walking sticks.
Red.
These wooden sticks can, for a small fee, be branded with the stamp of each station you pass on the mountain. The bells on the top of the stick jingle with every step you take to keep bears away, which have been sighted on the mountain.
Got your chocolate.
Can I get an oishi?
Oishi desu.
And the cloud's coming back in. And no sooner than the mountain disappears, does it reappear. 3,000 meters. If you're flying a plane up here and you don't have oxygen, turn back now.
Dust.
Looks like we're heading above the clouds. There's the next station.
The 8th.
8th, apparently.
This is the 9th station of the Mount Fuji.
I know. There's pictures of mountaineers that take 2 steps and have to rest.
Snacks for
As you can see, it's starting to get dark. The recommended way to experience Mount Fuji is to begin the climb in the early afternoon and get to the top at night. At the top, you stay in one of the mountain huts, get some sleep, then wake up at about 3 AM and head out to catch the sunrise. So at 9:30 PM we reached the tourist summit, the end of the Fuji Namiya Trail.
Torii Gate.
We called it this because you'd think it was the end of the climb, but really it's not the highest point on the mountain. The next phase of the plan was to find the accommodation.
Well, I presume there's no other option.
But what wasn't part of the plan was that it was a bit too early in the season. The summit accommodation had not yet opened, it turns out. We had 2 choices. We could walk for 45 minutes all the way around the summit crater to see if the summit hut on the other side was open, or we could descend back to station 9.5, which we knew was open because we'd passed it already. Deciding that was the safer option, we descended.
Alright, we've left stop 9.5 at about 3 AM. It is very cold up here. I'm going to push on for the top station and then find the true summit.
I don't remember what woke me up. In fact, I don't actually remember getting any sleep. But I was ready to go, and at 3 AM we resumed climbing. We positioned ourselves on the eastern side of the crater's rim to record a time-lapse of the sunrise. After that, we went to go and get the final stamp on our walking sticks. And followed that with getting some breakfast. After that, we attached the expedition flag to the walking stick,
Alright, let's go.
and then headed up towards Kengamine, the true summit of 3,776 meters, the location of the former Mount Fuji weather station, previously the highest weather radar in the world. The radar's now gone, and the outpost's no longer staffed, replaced with some automated instrumentation, and the whole thing turned into a lookout.
We've officially stopped going up.
Well, that's it. That's the summit. And there's only one way to go. Back down again. On the way back down, I experienced something that I'd never experienced before. It was something I'd never really considered previously, but as I got back down below the 3,000 meter mark and headed for the 2,000 meter mark, I was never so glad for the air to, well, contain so much air. It sounds strange, but you'd feel it too. So that was the end of this adventure. This was actually a re-edit of a small part of a much bigger video which also featured baseball, sumo wrestling, trains, time-lapse footage and the Gion Matsuri, a festival where teams of people pull wooden floats through the street, some of which weigh as much as 10 tons. The floats, that is, not the people. See you next time and subscribe so you don't miss it.